Mario, just your thoughts on the game. There's 3 tries in the first half. The difference between Mountain Marks as well.
Yeah, too easy now. I think that was the difference at the end of the game. I thought they didn't have to work too hard to score those tries, especially the last one, that interception. But we gave them away, and we weren't playing our style of footy. We were just too loose on the ball. We lost or delivered wrongly from line-up, scrum. We weren't too clinical in that first half. And despite that, 20 minutes into the second half, we are 4 points away. And again, we have a more 5 minutes away, and then they stole the ball in a ruck. Then they did again. So yeah, I thought we had the chances, especially at 27-24. But it's always difficult to run from behind, especially over here in the altitude.
Saying you guys had a great tour of Australia and New Zealand earlier this year. Still haven't won the game in South Africa. What's the difference? What makes it so difficult to win here?
Well, one is the altitude. I thought that again last week, obviously we did a lot of changes. Maybe with our best team, maybe we could have won. I thought we could have won, or we should have won that game against the Lions, the Bulls, with 20 points in front and dominating every stat in the game. And we let it go. Don't know. You tell me.
Well, firstly, commiserations on us. I mean, it's been a pretty good season in terms of where the Jaguares have come through in the past few seasons. You know, a first playoff place. How important is this now in terms of the confidence going forward for others?
I think we were building on that confidence throughout the year, just through work, and that work started impacting on our belief too. And then when you start believing, everything it's easier. But the first thing we did was work much more than the years before, and then the work started paying. So the players started buying into the system too, and I reckon we played good games this year. We didn't start very well, especially over here in South Africa. We lost 4 games in a row, and then we won 1, we lost 1, and then we did 7 in a row. So it was a good run.
Do you feel that this game was played at greater intensity than what you encountered in the league stage?
Well, I think that the last couple of games, I believe it's the first time that we get into the last game of the regular season, not knowing who's playing who. And when you look at the Australian teams, last year I think that the Australian team that won the most games was like 5 games, and this year Warriors has won like 9 or 10, and Brumbies, who was the last, won like 5 or 6. So the level obviously went up. Your guys over here too, you lost 2 franchises too, so everything went up. And the last couple of weeks, with every team playing for something, intensity started picking up. And obviously, well, quarterfinal, yeah, obviously it's another step.
You guys did something that very few teams can do, win all 4 matches in Australasia, especially the 2 in New Zealand. Should it be that the Lions have to go to Crusaders for a final? Can you share your secret of success in New Zealand with them?
We didn't beat the Crusaders.
No, I know, but still, I mean...
Well, it's not the same. It's not the same. I think that the thing that differentiates Crusaders from the other team is the work rate and the defense. They're better than any other team in the comp, and better than any other Kiwi team. They're happy to defend during 40 minutes, and then on the first ball they score. So they're really clinical. They have a very good set piece. Yeah, there's not many weak points. Good luck. But first you have to beat the Waratahs, which obviously I think that you can challenge them up front, but they're one of the teams that have the best players out the back. They have X factor in every position out there with Kurtley Beale, Foley, Folau, Naya Arvoro. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. I'll be watching.
If we go back to talk to your team,
Yeah, we heard before the international break, you guys were untouchable. I'm not sure what happened during the international.
We won the first game after the international against the Stormers.
And then what's it, 3?
And then it's 3 in a row, yeah. But for different reasons, which I explained before. The Bulls, I think that a third of our team is the first Super Rugby season. Some of those boys were playing, I don't know, 3rd division last year. So altitude was never in their heads. When they came over here, they were surprised by it. And they went full on the first 20 minutes playing every ball, and I thought that they didn't manage the fatigue as they should have. And then maybe surprised by the physical intensity. There were a lot of hits off the ball. Yeah, it was a weird game.
Mario, I'm not sure how involved you are in the national setup, but how important is for this team, the Jaguares team, to make that step up into Puma's rugby?
Well, it's almost the same team. If they don't call the guys playing overseas, it's exactly the same team. And again, I think there's a lot of unexperienced players. We have very young players in the squad, which is really good for them to play Super Rugby, because if they go straight from club rugby in Argentina, which is a level, it's not even Vodacom, and then they have to play the Springboks in Durban. So I think this is really good for those guys and for the other guys too. But you never know. I mean, they were saying they should have won in June because they were playing good rugby with Jaguares, and they should have lost after June against Stormers because they were playing very bad with Pumas. It's not maths. So, and I'm not. At the time, I'm not involved with what they're doing with the Pumas. So we're just worried about what happens over here, which, well, today is a little bit frustrating. But
Mario, just having a look, obviously it might be a bit too soon to ask you this question, but given that it's the end of your season now, next year you've obviously had a great first season in terms of making the playoffs. But what do you need to do next season to obviously go further, especially considering the fact that you're losing Nicholas to start front saying he's such a big part of your play?
Yeah, well, firstly, get another number 10, which today we have to develop, because yeah, there's not many around. We have Tito Bonilla, who's been coming in and out of Jaguares, and well, he'll be there, but obviously we have to develop younger players that could step up and play Super Rugby. And then just, I think that this year the boys discovered what was to work really hard. Now they know, and now they can step up and work harder, be much more clinical in terms of our set piece too. There's a big gap in terms of our best scrum and our worst scrum. Same thing with the driving maul or defending the driving maul, which was pretty good today, but we have to shorten that gap. You cannot have a scrum that it's 9 points and then have one of 0 points. It should be, if you have a bad scrum, you still win the ball. And today we lost. Our first scrum was 5 meters away. We could have put points on the board, and obviously, well, we lost that scrum. And then our delivery in several lineups wasn't great neither. So we have to step up everything, every department of our game: defense, tackle, practice, catch, pass, everything.
You obviously speak about what an effect the altitude has here. With your knowledge of Australian rugby and so on, you feel the Waratahs could have the mindset and the players to overcome that disadvantage of altitude?
But so Waratahs are coming here?
Yeah.
I thought it was in Sydney. No, it was us. If we won, okay, they're coming here.
Yeah, they're coming here.
It's still an advantage. 100%, it's an advantage. But they have a lot of international players. They're used to that. When I was involved with the Wallabies, we came a couple of times to play over here, and it was never really an issue to play in altitude. But right, okay, no, that's different for you guys.
If you stay on the altitude issue, would you say the Lions have built a game plan to make the altitude count?
100% they are. But I think that now they did it because of the altitude. I think I'm assuming, I don't know, but they did it because of the altitude. But it works so well that now they do it everywhere. So the first kickoff they will try to play, or the first penalty maybe they'll run it. Especially in the regular season, maybe quarterfinals, semifinals, that is a little bit different. But when you come over here, you know that first kickoff they're running from everywhere. First penalty they're running, quick ball from line out. So yeah, definitely. But then you watch them in other teams, and every scrum in the round 22 they're running, even if they play in Australia or in Argentina or everywhere. So maybe they did it because of that, but now they feel comfortable with it and they do it everywhere.
Mario, is there a sense of belonging now with the SARugbymag sides, having worked so hard this season and to make the playoffs? Is there now a sense of belief that Jaguares actually belong in this level of competition?
Well, I'll ask you, what do you think?
You're confident.
There you go.
Thank you, Edna.
Thank you very much.